Hey guys, I'm Dominic with 9 to 5 Tactical, and today we've got stuff from our friends at NeoMag. The two products we have in question is the ALIAS Belt and the beltless receiver. Before I forget, today's channel sponsor, Aura. A lot of people out there are getting their information stolen or having data breaches. The biggest one, of course, is the AT&T data leak, where millions of people had their social security numbers and payment options and credit cards leaked. So if you want to keep yourself protected and you're paranoid just like we do, we recommend Aura. They will protect your information as well as keep you up to date of any type of people accessing your information. Also, their software will detect malware. So if any like weird, suspicious downloaded stuff is on your devices, from your phones to your computer, they will notify you. Check out Aura. They have a free trial, so no overhang. I think it's 14 days. And if you want to support the channel as well, we get a little kickback from that. It keeps our lights on. Also, check out our Patreon. We don't have any content out there yet, but we'll start pushing some of our content out there as YouTube slowly infringes on what we can post. Just a quick disclaimer, we did get these products sent out to us from NeoMag. Both products, their beltless receiver and the ALIAS belt. We were interested in their products. We met them at GunCon 2024, and they were nice enough to offer some of these for us to review. Additionally, we met them at Ohio Range Day 2024. That was a great training event. The owner of NeoMag was there, and he was a pretty cool dude. But anyways, it was a great time at Ohio Range Day. We made a video on it, kind of summarizing what we did. Go ahead and check that out if you haven't. As for today's video, we'll be focusing on the ALIAS belt system. Keep an eye out for our next video on how to carry comfy with the beltless receiver. So starting with the ALIAS belt, we'll go into the specs with this. It's made with a Tegris inner frame wrapped in Cordura for a durable and lightweight belt. It has laser cut holes on the inside to choose where you want to put your ALIAS receivers. It's around the entire belt, so there's dozens of options to choose from. The price is $99.99 for this belt. They also offer an additional belt with a Cobra buckle system for $150 if you want that one instead. As for the setup, you'll screw the receivers into the inner loop of the belt. Keep in mind, you want to make sure that these levers are at the bottom so your receivers are the correct side up and you don't look stupid wearing your belt upside down. Fun fact, my brother actually does that. Once you have all your receivers set in place, it's as easy as clicking in the adapters like this. If I can line it up. Lucky for us, NeoMag sent us a bunch of additional goodies, including their attachments made for the ALIAS receivers. If you want it set up similarly to us, I'll break it down for you and kind of show you how much it's going to cost. Of course, you'll have the belt itself. It will come with one ALIAS receiver, and that's $100 right there. What we have on ours is 3 additional ones, so 4 total. But for those 3 additional ones, it'll be $35.99 each, so about an extra $108. Next, we have the 2 ALIAS OWB MOLLE adapters, which are on our rifle mag carrier here and our pistol magazine pouch. Those are $25.99 each, and that will be an additional $52 total there. Lastly, we have our OWB set up with the drop adapter for $16.99, the thigh strap hanger right here for $15.99, and the thigh strap itself for $25. That'll bring our total set to about $362. I forgot to mention that if you order the receivers at the time of purchase of your belt, you'll actually save $16. So instead of being $36, it'll be $20 per receiver. Now, with the total price I said before was $362, that'll bring the price down to $314. And that's before shipping, and that will vary where you live. Now, who is this for? I think the ALIAS belt is a great setup for someone who doesn't want to have to switch between a duty belt to a concealed carry belt. It really reduces the amount of items you need to haul back to and from the range. As for my experience with the ALIAS belt, For the last couple of months, I've been rocking this on a daily basis, from when I have to go to the store, from dry firing at home, to when I go to the range. And when I go to the range, I have ran it inside the waistband and outside the waistband. For my experience with inside the waistband, kind of similar to the core belt that I actually have, which is right here. With the ALIAS belt, I was able to get the same benefits as I do with my Core Essentials concealed carry belt. I normally wore this like every day for the last like couple years of my life. I was glad that I was able to get the same type of benefits that I do with the ALIAS belt that I do with my Core concealed carry belt. Now, I'd say the biggest difference between these two really is just the adjustability of the Core belt. The Core belt has way more adjustability for your sizing, as you do get a cut to your size, as well as you get a ratchet style adjustment depending on how much you eat that day. But really that's a big difference, as this is more set to a size 36 like myself, but you only get like this strap up front to adjust it to where you want, which it is some size adjustment, but not as much as the Core's ratcheting system. Now, the one thing that the ALIAS belt system can do that the Core just can't do is that it's also an outside the waistband setup. As you can see, I already have my attachments here for my AR magazine, as well as my pistol magazine and my holster. I obviously have the inside the waistband setup attached, but that's just for showcase purposes. I'm not really going to be running at the same time, but you could, and that's all that matters, is that it's not necessarily a need, but a want. But I'll go ahead and show you the Core belt that I have in mind here, that I normally have to switch to when I run the Core CCW to the Core duty belt. And obviously, one thing you'll notice about this belt is that it is thicker and more sturdy, but it's as to be expected because it is a special purpose belt. Like, I would not be able to wear this, you know, driving around. I mean, I could, but it would be not very enjoyable and an awkward experience if I got pulled over. But for this one, I'm able to just keep the same belt on, have less clutter, and then remove or attach any attachments I want. But for my life, this makes my life a lot easier. I literally go to the range, I get out of the car, I can do like inside the waistband drills at the range, and then I like, oh, well, that's enough inside the waistband, you know. Example case, I was running this outside the waistband quite a bit. Prior to Ohio range day, as I was getting ready for that, I decided just to, you know, run my outside the waistband setup by just putting the attachments on. I did not have to go through the hassle of switching between two belts, and that not only saved a lot of clutter and space in my bag and when I brought to the range, it also just saved me some time, especially if you are someone who's a very busy person, big man, big money, and you need to save time as much as possible. I'd say you're going to save a good amount of time with the ALIAS belt system. Now, of course, everything isn't perfect. Everything's got its pros and cons, and we're going to get right into that. Starting with the pros, because what's good is good. Now, what is this? This is a belt that is a jack of all trades. If you're running the ALIAS belt like we are, you can run inside the waistband and carry it like I did everywhere I went, as well as do it outside the waistband, duty belt style. And I love the fact that you can do that because it saves clutter, saves what you have to bring to the range, as well as it saves a lot of time. We'll even show you a time lapse of how long it takes for me to put on from both my duty belt and my concealed carry belt back and forth, opposed to just having the ALIAS belt and then putting the attachments on. The next pro we have on the list is the customization. The best part about this, of course, is the holes that are around the entire inner loop of the belt. Allows you to put the ALIAS receivers anywhere you want. You could have receivers around the entire belt and have attachments out the wazoo, or have 3 pistols. You can do whatever you want, and that is the beauty of the ALIAS system. Comfortability, that is the next one we have, and I've been wearing this belt for the last 2 months, and I have not had any issues with discomfort or pain in my lower back. Something else gives me pain in my lower back. I also did not notice any of these receivers poking me in the waistline, because a lot of people, I think I've seen questions online about the ALIAS system is, do the receivers cause discomfort when you're wearing them? If you're on eternal bulk like I am, you're just getting thicker and you're a tactical thickie. ALIAS receivers do not actually dig into your body at all. I don't notice it. Even if they did, they give you these square pads that you can run and stick on the inside to help reduce how much of the receiver is actually touching your body. With all these attachments on, I actually didn't notice any discomfort or any of the receivers digging my body with the extra weight on. So comfortability, it's really good for this belt inside and outside the waistband. The next pro we have is quality. The components that you get here are actually all metal. The ALIAS receivers are all metal, so you get the maximum durability that you can. I think it's very good for what you're getting, especially what you're paying for. I think there are other ones like Tech Systems that have like QD style attachments for other belts, but those are plastic and those are prone to breaking way more than the metal ones. But the metal ones, we haven't noticed any like excessive wear or any of the ALIAS receivers falling apart. As well as the belt. The belt is made out of a Tegris inner loop, and I think it's rather sturdy for what it's trying to do. It's still trying to find that good balance between a lightweight belt and a very solid belt. I felt that NeoMag really hit it out of the park with finding the good balance between comfortability and sturdiness. So for the price, this is cheaper. And not only that, you get a 2-in-1 package, less storage you have to take up, and it's just an overall convenience. Now we're on the cons. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Everything's got their compromise. Starting with the first con, as I tie it back to the pro, like I said, it's a do-it-all belt, jack of all trades, but with no ace. What I mean by that is that while I think it's a fully capable inside the waistband belt, the ALIAS system is also able to do the outside the waistband belt, but I don't think it necessarily does its job better than a specific purpose battle belt like the one we have here. Now what do I mean by that? We'll start on the ALIAS system first. When I ran this outside the waistband, which it's fully capable of doing, when I had all my ammo loaded up on me, magazines, 2011, all that. Why I mentioned 2011, it's a heavier pistol than most, and I felt that the weight of everything on it, this is where the light weight of this thing started to falter. Because it's trying its best to be inside the waistband set up as well, that's where you lose some of the rigidity because it also needs to be comfortable. Now, going on to the battle belt that I have here that's specifically only meant to be worn for OWB, with the same loadout, I would felt less of the weight being overcome. Now with the same loadout on the specific battle belt, this was more sturdy and rigid, and it was especially noticeable when doing movement drills that the weight of the loadout and stuff I had on here was less taking a toll on my body, as well as it was just more stiff. It wasn't moving around as much as it was on the ALIAS. I'm not saying that you can't run this outside the waistband, but what I'm saying is it's not going to outperform a specific duty belt. Just a quick visualization before I move on to the next part. Here is me just kind of moving up and down the ALIAS system with the outside waistband setup, doing the same thing with the core belt. As you can see here, moving them both at the same time, one has more flop than the other. The last con we have is that everything on here is proprietary. What do I mean by that? Now the ALIAS belt has ALIAS receivers. The ALIAS receivers have ALIAS adapters. Anything that's not ALIAS will not work on anything that's not ALIAS. So let's say you decide to go to another belt in the future for a duty belt or concealed carry. None of this will transfer over, and it'll be a very expensive paperweight at home. Moving on to the next section, I would say these are cons that you would throw in the cons, but I feel like they're more nitpicky and nuisance things that kind of just vary from individual to individual. I'll start with number one. When putting on this belt, it does take time because every time you feed the belt through the loops, the receivers try to get stuck on the loop. So when you do find yourself is like trying to thread, like it's like if you had a string that you lost in your sweatpants and you're trying to like get it back out. That's the best way to describe it, and trying to put on and take off the belt. The next nuisance we have is that it is quite a tedious thing to set up. What I mean is that the inner loops, when you put the ALIAS receiver, you have to peel back the Cordura layer on top and put 3 set screws to put the ALIAS receivers in. But once you get past the annoying part that is the setup, you'll at least know that your receivers will be very secure and the adapter placement will be very consistent. As for my final thoughts regarding the ALIAS belt, I think it's advertised accurately at what it's trying to do. Like I mentioned, if you're someone who doesn't like to have to switch between a concealed carry belt and a duty belt every time you go to the range, that the ALIAS belt would be great for you. I think it actually does a phenomenal job as a concealed carry belt. I think it did the exact same things that my core belt was able to do, but with the ability to be able to be switched to outside the waistband. Now, do I think this outside the waistband setup on this would be a replacer to an actual specific purpose duty belt? Absolutely not. But like I said, this is a jack of all trades with no ace. It's not trying to be the best duty belt. It's not trying to be the best concealed carry belt. It's just trying to do everything all at once. So if you're someone who's lazy like myself and wants a do-it-all belt, I think this would be great for you. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope this was informative, and if you have any more questions, let us know in the comments below. Leave a like, share, and subscribe, and support us on Patreon, because that's how we keep the lights on. Ammo's expensive, and we're brokies. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.